Senator Eltife.
Yeah, Larry, I have a few questions for you.
Yes, sir.
We're talking a lot about stimulus money we took. I think the state took 10 or 12 billion in total of stimulus money. We haven't talked yet about the money we didn't take, which was the $500 million in unemployment money that we should have taken, in my opinion, and we didn't. The Senate passed a bill to take that money. It didn't get out of the House. Tell me how much of an increase small businesses have faced. How much have you raised their taxes to replenish the unemployment fund to date?
The general rate was, the average rate was 0.99, and it has gone now to 1.7.
What percentage is that? About a doubling?
Yeah.
You've almost doubled the tax on small business to replenish that fund. Is that correct?
The total trust fund.
Right. When
yes.
we were in session, the projection was that that fund would be broke in August, I believe. No, excuse me, in October.
And it
ended up being broke in August.
Is
that about right?
That's about right. Yes, sir.
When we were trying to pass that legislation that certain people were fighting, the projection was the fund would be broke in October, and the fund was broke in August. Since that time that we did not take that $500 million, you've doubled the taxes to replenish that fund. Is that correct?
The average tax rate has basically doubled. Yes.
We just saw an announcement that you're going to now float bonds to put money in that fund. Is that correct?
Yeah, yes, sir.
And who's going to pay those bonds back over time with interest?
That will be an assessment to employers.
To who would that be? The small businesses in Texas?
It would be, yes, it would be all businesses.
Had we gotten you that $500 million, would that have lessened the impact on the bonds you're going to float or the taxes you've increased on small business? Strictly from a numbers standpoint.
Yes, sir. It would have reduced, I guess, the amount we would have borrowed. Those changes, we would have had more people eligible. So I can't remember exactly what the numbers were.
Well, the net cost of the bill we passed in the Senate was an additional $53 million a year, but we were going to get $550 million. So you'd have had about $500 million even after year one sitting in that fund. Would that not have helped lessen the burden of raising the taxes on small business?
It would have contributed to the trust fund, yes, sir.
And contributing to the trust fund would have lessened the tax increase on businesses. If you'd have had $500 million sitting in that fund, would you have raised the taxes as much as you did?
Probably it would have been reduced. Yes, I'm not sure how much, but it would have been reduced.
Would you have raised the taxes as much as you did? Yes or no?
Well, the commission actually raised the taxes half of what they could have raised. So
but had you had another $500 million,
it would have been a positive impact.
It would have been a less of a tax burden on small business.
For the short term, yes, sir. It would have
right,
been.
But that's what we're interested in, is getting through the rough spot.
Yes, sir.
Or you would have had to borrow less money.
Yes, sir.
So in hindsight, and I know this is a political issue. I'm not asking about political issues. I'm just asking about hard, cold numbers. It was insane for the state of Texas not to take that $500 million in free money from the federal government to put in that unemployment fund. There are a lot of people talk about strings attached. Every federal stimulus dollar we've heard about today had a string attached. Every one of them had a requirement. We took $10 to $12 billion, all with strings attached, and didn't say a word about it. But that last $500 million that we failed to take has increased the tax burden on small business in the state of Texas. There are no way around it. And there are organizations out there that want to spin it differently every time the subject comes up, and they are flat wrong. We should have taken that money. And how many Texans, how many additional Texans that are unemployed in this state would have benefited from that money? Additional Texans.
There would have been more people eligible.
Correct.
Because that was a condition of taking the money.
We were expanding benefits to the tune of $53 million a year.
Yes, sir.
The bill we passed out of the Senate. So $53 million a year of additional benefits to hardworking Texans who lost their jobs through no fault of their own, did not get help because we did not take that $500 million. So I just want it to be very clear from the director, Larry Temple, and everyone that's listening, small businesses paying more today because we did not take that money from the federal government. I'm a numbers guy. I could care less about the politics. It was insane to leave $500 million on the table. Thank you for being here.
Yes, sir, Senator.